Wasn't that fantastic, Loretta's presentation? Thank you. I'm sitting back there and we're listening to her talk and we're going, yeah, that's exactly right, that's exactly right. And I'm getting really nervous back there thinking, oh my gosh, I have to follow her. This is a fantastic presentation she's giving. I'm getting more stressed out. I'm drinking a little bit of rest to help me relax, and we're kind of talking back there at the tables, you know, what can we all do to lower our stress levels? I'm gonna talk to you guys for the next 15 minutes or so about some of the things that we can do to actually reduce our stress and do some of the things and achieve some of the things in our body that Loretta was talking about. You know, she talked about when we're stressed out, it's almost like a badge of honor, right? Where, you know, you have to tell people how stressed out you are, and you have to be more stressed out than the next person. But we can use these products, and I'll explain a little bit of the science today, and I'll explain more of the science tomorrow in the breakout sessions, where I'll actually be able to show you some graphs and some data from some of the studies that we've done. One of the things that drives me crazy about talking about stress to people is that we can go out there in the world and it's hard to encounter somebody that doesn't have a lot of stress or who doesn't have problems sleeping, right? That's, as Katie said earlier, that's the normal situation, right? When we look at the things that are causing people problems, right? We can categorize them into different ways that we feel not quite right? And you guys have maybe heard me talk about some of these before. You know, we can be stressed out. That's what I'll talk about mostly today. We can be stiff and sore. We can be gaining weight. We can be just not feeling energetic. We can feel tired and worn out. All of those things are separate problems, so to speak. But when we look at them from a product development perspective and from a biochemical perspective, the thing that's both cool and sad about them is that they all interact with each other. So if you're stiff and sore, you're not going to have the energy. If you don't have the energy, you're not going to be active, so you might gain weight. If you gain weight, it's maybe going to stress you out. And it goes back and forth and overlaps all over the place. And that's what makes it frustrating to try to fix one, because what you really need to do is try to fix all of them. And when we look at that idea of feeling off, it's literally, and I'll show you some statistics, it's literally millions and millions of people in North America. It's millions and millions of people in Japan. It's millions and millions of people in Brazil, or any developed country that you look at have these same problems, right? But when I look at those, I also see solutions. And we can do it in some very, I think, interesting ways. You know, Monavie is all about this company that's about a more meaningful life. And we've tried to help people achieve that in different ways over the years. What we're doing now, today, in Salt Lake City is launching this last piece of the puzzle, so to speak, this category that rest and balance will be the first entries into, this idea of helping our bodies balance stress, helping our bodies feel better in that particular way. But think about, put yourself back here in 2005, right? When Dallin and Henry and Randy said, we're putting together a company that's going to help you live a more meaningful life. What do you think people said to them? They said, come on, how are you going to do that? That is such a big ask to help people live a more meaningful life. Where in the world do you even start? Well, they started with essential and active. They started with that antioxidant piece. They started with nourishing the body, nourishing the cells to fix that idea of suboptimal nutrition. And when they fixed that, they moved on to the next piece. So then you can see pulse coming in and EMV coming in to solve that problem of low energy in a very different way, even today a very different way from what everybody else is doing. And so they solved that piece. Then they moved on to the other pieces, immune and reveal. And then you move on to what Max is doing. We move on to be able to prove the value of these products with View, and now we're solving that last piece of the puzzle. So we can stand here 8 years later and it all sort of makes sense. But it's been 8 years in the making, right? 8 years is a long time to stay true to that vision of a more meaningful life. And I love that, you know, Mauricio is all about that. In every meeting that we have, that's what we look towards. And we look towards that as a company, but we look towards it as a product development group. Every time we're looking at a new product to develop, we step back and we say, well, we know it's going to do something really cool, but how is it going to fit into this? How is it going to fit into delivering a more meaningful life for people? When it goes from a formula stage to a can we even get it stage? You know, the supply guys have to look and say, okay, can we get those pieces? The manufacturing guys have to figure out, can we put those pieces together? The operations guys have to figure out, can we get that into the warehouse and can we ship it out and can it be there in time? You guys have to look at it and say, can I sell it? But more importantly, can it do this? Can it help people live a more meaningful life? That's what this is all about. And when I look at the products, these 4 sort of categories of products, they all stand on their own. Again, put yourself 8 years ago in the past and think to yourself, God, where am I going to start? And it reminds me of, I'm a nerd, not just for nutrition, but I'm a nerd for other aspects of science, right? So one of the things I love is the whole NASA space exploration thing. Maybe you guys know the story of, in 1961, John F. Kennedy made a challenge, right? We're going to put a man on the moon before the end of the 60s, right? So in 61, they gave him 9 years for the country to mobilize to do that. And I don't know if you know this part of the story, but when he made that announcement in that speech, his staff, and especially his speechwriter, went, huh? What? That wasn't part of what you're supposed to be talking about today. It was kind of an off-the-cuff thing to mobilize the country. And so, they didn't walk off stage and go hop on a rocket and go blast off. They took some time to figure out, can we build the rocket? How are we going to fuel it? How are we going to figure out the trajectory? Like, there's a lot of moving parts from getting here to there to the moon. In 1969, 8 years and 2 months after making that announcement, they did it. Neil Armstrong stepped out of the little capsule right onto the moon. So they had done it, but they had done it in a way that was a massive coordinated effort. And I think that's exemplified by the fact that just before the first sort of test launches of the initial rockets, JFK was touring one of the NASA facilities. And before the thing started, he was going to make some announcements and the cameras were going to roll and stuff. He was kind of walking around meeting people, what do you do here? What do you do here? What do you do here? And he went up to the custodian, the janitor, the guy who's emptying the waste paper baskets. And he said, sir, in his Massachusetts accent, what is it that you do here? And the janitor looked at me and said, Mr. President, I'm helping to put a man on the moon. Right? The guy emptying he didn't say, I'm cleaning up around here. He was putting a man on the moon. And that's what we try to think when we look at these products. It's part of this puzzle to help us live a more meaningful life, right? That's the way we're all thinking about Manavi these days. So with that, this last piece of that coordinated platform, I want to show you a little bit about this REST product. Here's a little video.
Did you know 40 million people in the U.S. have a chronic sleep disorder? 70 million people suffer from insomnia. A quarter of America's adults say their sleep problems impact their daily lives. 75% said they frequently experienced at least one symptom of sleep disorder. Nearly $2.5 billion is spent annually for sleep supplements in the U.S. alone, in an industry growing at a 15% increase every year.
That's why the Manavi product development team created Manavi Rest, formulated to help you relax, unwind, and sleep. This delicious beverage helps promote a naturally calm, relaxed state. This tasty, soothing herbal combination contains nutritionals, fennel, lemon balm, chamomile, and 16 fruits. Manavi Rest is based on a natural remedy used for generations by the people of Brazil. If you're not getting enough sleep, like the millions of North Americans that we know are sleep deprived, getting enough sleep is as important in certain ways as a proper diet program and a proper exercise program. So you really need to get enough sleep and get that restorative benefit that sleep provides. And that's what Manavi Rest can deliver.
Pretty good, right? So I love the name, rest says it all. The tagline, relax, unwind, sleep. So the thing about sleep is that people think it's something that we can skip. It's something we can do without. It's something that comes at the end of all of other stuff. And that is not the right way to think about it, right? I could stand up here on stage and tell you, you all have to get 8 hours of sleep, right? Are you gonna do it? You're gonna try, hopefully you're gonna try because that's important, but you're probably not gonna do it. You're probably not gonna be able to do it. So what we're trying to think of is, how can we get you to have better sleep, better quality of sleep? I'll show you some data tomorrow on a study that we've done on this product that shows that it helps you fall asleep faster, helps you stay asleep longer, helps you get more minutes of REM sleep, and helps you get a better overall sleep quality. Because look at these statistics. I'm not going to go through all of these for you. One that came out literally the other day from the Centers for Disease Control show that 1 in 25 Americans are taking some sort of a sleep aid, prescription, over-the-counter synthetic sleep aid to help them go to sleep. 1 out of 25. That's a gigantic, gigantic market of people who are reaching for something they probably don't want to reach for, but think that they have no other choice. We have a choice now to help us get that benefit that we're supposed to. So where did that come from? Mauricio alluded to it just very, very briefly. It came from a traditional concept. This blend, chamomile, fennel, and lemon balm, mixed with a little bit of sugar, mixed with a little bit of milk, traditionally, is something that Brazilian grandmas for generations have been giving to kids to help them relax and go to sleep at night. You know, so that is something where we can take the tradition, we can apply some science to it, we can apply some modern manufacturing to it, and we can have something that tastes great, is easy to use, and works like a charm. You know, so we've been using it around the office now. We've been doing some studies on it, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's not something that you'll drink and it knocks you out and obliterates you. You actually don't want to do that. That's what sleep drugs do. And there's some problems with that I'll talk about later or tomorrow in the breakouts. But something like that works with your body's normal biorhythms to help you get into those deeper stages of sleep. You'll wake up and you'll go, wow, I can't believe I slept that way. I haven't slept that way in a long time. And there's lots of people who are there. Look at this. Adults need 8 hours of sleep. What do you think most adults in North America get? 6, 5.5, 6 is what the National Sleep Foundation tells us. That's not enough. We can look at some of these statistics, and it's absolutely amazing. Look to the person to your left. Look to the person on your right. One of you is having problems. 2 of you are having problems getting sleep. It's a big, big deal. And if you don't get sleep, it sets off a stress response in your body. So you're more stressed out the next day. It's less likely you'll get sleep the next night. It's a very vicious cycle that you get yourself in. So how do we do that? Here are the ingredients that I just mentioned before. They all work in slightly different ways. It's what we call a matrix effect, right? We don't want to give you one thing to knock you out and hope that that works. We'd rather work with your body's, as I said before, biorhythms, a little bit of fennel, a little bit of lemon balm, a little bit of chamomile, a little bit of a compound that's kind of like a B vitamin, inositol. All of these work with the brain, including a little bit of sugar. I was on Fox News the other morning. You'll see a clip of it tomorrow. And they said, they led with, what do you mean we can take sugar? You know, we give people a little bit of sugar. It helps the brain take up carbohydrates or take up tryptophan, convert that into serotonin. We work with the body's normal process to help us relax. So with sleep, a lot of times I'll tell people it's as important as their diet plan, it's as important as their exercise plan for their overall well-being. My wife and I joke around a lot that I should practice more what I preach, right? I try to do my best, right? But I don't exercise as much as I would like. I don't eat as well as I would like. That's why we have the scanner, keeps us all honest. Sometimes I'll be standing looking in the refrigerator at night. It's late at night, or I'll be looking in the pantry, and my wife will look at me and she'll go, hey, you're not hungry, you're tired. When you don't get enough sleep, it changes your hormones, it changes your appetite. There are very good studies showing if you get that average 6 hours of sleep, it changes your blood sugar, it changes your stress hormones, which changes your blood sugar control, which changes your appetite, so you crave sweets, And when you eat those sweets, it changes your body fat levels. It changes your risk for diabetes. So just because you miss 2 hours of sleep, you're changing your entire health profile. You're changing your entire your risk index for so many things down the line. We need to start thinking a little bit more holistically that, hey, there is something that we can do to help get us back on balance. Which brings me to this next product, balance. So sleep is one piece of the puzzle, as antioxidants are a piece of the puzzle, and blood sugar is a piece of the puzzle, and energy levels are a piece of the puzzle. Sleep is a piece of the puzzle. But stress in general is a piece of the puzzle, and it's a great big piece of the puzzle. So let me introduce you to balance.
Life gets busy, and daily stress is part of life. Did you know 48% of us find it difficult to manage our daily obligations and find time to relax? 77% of us regularly experience physical symptoms caused by stress. The mood market in the US alone is worth $30 billion, powering supplement growth of 10% annually.
That's why the Monavie product development team created Monavie Balance. It's formulated to help keep your stress in check. Monavie Balance contains a day and night formula to help your body adapt to stress while creating a sense of well-being. Use the non-stimulant daytime formula to help promote feelings of energy and happiness so you can deal with everyday stresses. Then trust in the calming night formula to promote a relaxing evening. This all-natural formula contains a proprietary blend of plant extracts that help our body adapt to the stresses of everyday life.
It has made a big difference in my life. I wish I had this product 20 years ago.
Monavie Balance helps promote feelings of energy and happiness, helps you deal with everyday stresses, increases physical and mental energy.
You know, Monavie Balance might not get rid of the traffic jam that you're sitting in, and it might not get rid of the bills that are sitting in your mailbox, but it will help you with a normal stress response. It has ingredients that can help us revitalize during the day and also relax at night. It's a product that can be used in conjunction with Monavie's Rest product. The combination of these products, Monavie Balance and Monavie Rest, is your solution for the stressful world.
Monavie Balance is your solution to help your body adapt to the stresses of everyday life.
All right. So I almost don't have to share these statistics with you about how stressed out we are. You heard it from Loretta. You know it in your own life that you're stressed out. Pretty much everybody that you meet on the street or in your life is stressed out. But I want to point out a couple of things about this. Look at the first bullet point. 77% regularly experience physical symptoms caused by stress. I think a lot of times we think that stress is just this psychological thing. It's a brain thing. It's something we perceive. And that's partly right. But that perception biochemically and neurologically goes through our whole body. So it really is a physical sort of a symptomology. And that physical symptom means that we experience, 77% of people experience enough chronic stress where it results in some sort of an ache, a fatigue, a weight gain, a something. So it's throwing a monkey wrench into what we're already trying to do in terms of balancing with our other products. So this is an example of where those products really truly can synergize together, where if you control your stress physiology, you will probably have an easier time losing weight. If you control your stress physiology, you won't be depleting your antioxidants. If you control your stress physiology, your energy levels will be better as a baseline, so our energy products will work better. And that goes back and forth across all categories of our products. Look at this second bullet point. What's the number one source of stress in the world? Money. We have a solution for that too. It's not a product, it's our opportunity, right? Think about where the stress comes from for most people. Every time the phone rings, is it a bill collector? Every time you go to the gas pump and you just watch the numbers go up. Every time you go to the mailbox, what's in the mailbox? Not love letters, right? Bills. That's this chronic worry that's always there. That changes our stress physiology. From a normal circadian rhythm to this chronic stress that we sort of have all the time in the back of our mind. That's what I mean when I talk about the top causes of stress. So when you have that stress, you'll you'll feel it, right? And you'll describe it as stress, or you'll describe it as feeling fatigued or tired. You'll describe it as being grouchy and irritable and those sorts of things. And that's important, right? When we talk about more meaningful life, a big part of that is helping people feel better. And this speaks to that. But I think it's also important for people to understand that while we're feeling this way, some very real biological things are going on in our bodies, where when you're stressed out, your stress hormones change. When your stress hormones change, your body gets into a state that we refer to as catabolic, where it's breaking down faster. And that happens in every single tissue in the body. You can see it visually when we look at neurons. So this is a nice, happy, low stress, lovely neuron. That is actually a beautiful neuron. It's big. I know it's sad, right? It has a lot of projections. Like in a brain, this would be a creative neuron. It would have good memory. It would be good at problem solving. It would be good at all that kind of stuff that you want your brain to do. The one on the right, though, high stress, it's physically shrunken. It breaks down. There's less of it there. There's fewer projections. Some of them are actually physically broken. They're disrupted. That happens in the brain, it happens in blood vessels, it happens in muscles, it happens in skin, it happens in bones, for God's sakes. It happens in every single tissue. We're breaking down faster when we're under stress, except one tissue in the body responds oppositely and builds up faster when we're under stress. And it's this tissue. It's our belly fat, specifically abdominal fat. People who study it call this abdominal fat, call it stress fat. Because when we're under the most stress, this is when we grow belly fat. Not the fat in your thighs or your butt or your big toe or anywhere else, specifically belly fat. And that's bad for your blood pressure, it's bad for your diabetes risk, it's bad for your cholesterol, it's bad for syndrome X, it's bad for lots of different things. So it's been colorized here so you can see the difference. Normal stress situation, not so much. High stress situation, boom. But when we balance that stress, our body gets back into that state that it does so well, which is restoration, where we can actually bounce back from the stresses of life. So, do people want these kinds of products? I think they do. There's a huge market out there right now in terms of prescription products to treat stress, prescription products to treat mood, prescription products to treat problems with sleep. And when consumer surveys are conducted, you can look at this. 83% of people want products that improve alertness and help with brain function. 82% of people want products that help with relaxation. So there's clearly a consumer need out there. People want these kinds of products, but look at the lighter colored bars. Only 30% and 29% are actively buying those. And when they are buying them, they're turning to those OTCs, over the counters. They're turning to prescription medications because the natural options aren't there yet. We are there today. We have those products for them now. That's a gigantic, gigantic unmet need that we're ready to solve for people right now today. So how do we do that? With balance, we use a combination of different herbals that have already been used traditionally around the world. So I'll go into the data behind these ingredients tomorrow if you can come to the breakout sessions. But we use tangara leaf from Malaysia, Indian gooseberry from India, pine bark from New Zealand. That's our AM capsule that in a non-stimulant way bring your daytime energies back to where you want them to be. We also do a PM capsule, and we base that on traditional medicine, where we use magnolia bark and philodendron from China, we use ashwagandha from Tibet, and we use pine bark again from New Zealand to help naturally relax you at night. Because when you're in a chronic stress situation, where you normally find yourself is fatigued in the day and restless at night. That's an absolute flip-flop for what you want to be, and it's because your stress hormones have come out of balance. We help you maintain normal balance so you can be energized in the day and relaxed at night exactly the way your body wants to. So, I expect huge things from these products. Huge unmet need out there, and an easy ask for people. Everybody is stressed out. Everybody practically has problems with their sleep, and these products work so effectively. I can't walk out into the hallway without somebody pulling me aside and saying, let me tell you what I've experienced with balance, or let me tell you what I've experienced on the first can of rest that I've been able to use. It's absolutely astonishing that we have products that work as well as they do, are as easy to use, and just fit with what we're already trying to do at Monavie. I think it's a really, really exciting time. So, just to go back to my JFK story for a second, right? I think, they took 8 years and 2 months to get to announcement of the space race to landing on the moon. We're right at that. We're right at eight years of Monavie, of saying more meaningful life to, I think we're landing on the moon today with having these products. And that's great. That is fantastic. But I don't want to be on the moon, right? I'd rather shoot for even further than that. And I think we can do that with some of the things we have planned coming to you soon. So thanks a lot for listening to me, you guys. I really appreciate it. Hey, this is Dr. Sean Talbot. Don't forget to send in your questions so that we can answer them on future editions of From the Lab. Just send your emails to the address that you see at the bottom of the screen. Thanks.